Hello and welcome to today's webinar detailing an exciting UAS event set for Austin, Texas. My name is Luke Geiver and I'm the editor of UAS Magazine and the program director for the Texas UAS Summit. Our team at UAS Magazine typically provides webinar content on important and exciting news or updates in the UAS world. However, we felt that this event in Texas is both historic and exciting, and we're happy to have you today to explain the purpose of the event and the opportunities to all of those who attend. Joining me today is John Nelson, Marketing and Sales Director for UAS Magazine and BBI International, the publishing and events company responsible for UAS Magazine and a suite of other offerings. Mr. Nelson will explain the benefits of the event to exhibitors and sponsors. Also with us today will be Joe Henry, Director of Research, Commercialization, and Industry Outreach at the Lone Star UAS Center of Excellence and Innovation. We are fortunate to be working in collaboration with Mr. Henry and his team at the Lone Star UAS test site to showcase the enormous role Texas has in the UAS sector, both regionally and beyond the borders of the Lone Star State. Our conversations to date have already yielded numerous print story ideas, and it is clear that the attendees of this event will gain incredible insight into the field from all of the collaborators on this event. A few housekeeping notes before we move forward. We will take questions at the end, but all questions will be responded to by appropriate member of our team working on this event following the webinar, either through an email or called response. We'll cover a lot of material today. Mainly today's webinar will cover topics related to the event, including a description of what to expect, event deadlines for the many participants that already have or are planning to partake in this historic show, and the benefits to all involved. John Nelson will also be talking about exhibiting and sponsorship opportunities. And again, Joe Henry has taken time out of his day to talk with us about Texas's place in the UAS industry, including advanced research and other work that him and his team are doing in Texas. Now, to answer the big question, why UAS in Austin, Texas? Well, our magazine team and event collaborators are certainly honored to be organizing and leading the efforts of this event. Never before has a UAS event to this scale taken place in Texas. Many of us have seen or been to UAS themed event on the West Coast, Northern Plains, or East Coast, but never has the true story and role of UAS in Texas and the greater Gulf Coast area been explained and made available for the commercial industry and policymakers in the region to utilize in their own decision-making processes. Texas offers commercial UAS opportunities in many of the most pertinent and promising end-use sectors, from oil and gas operations to agriculture to coastal operations. As part of the show, we're also excited at our team at UAS Magazine to be including the collaborative efforts and work of Lone Star UAS and Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service to showcase the endless possibilities for commercial UAS work based in Texas, or at least work started in Texas. Again, our team is extremely happy to be working with the experts at both of the collaborative groups mentioned on your screen. Both entities have performed several crucially important research or commercial efforts for the UAS industry already, and as you'll see in the future, will have a big role moving forward. Each also offers an unrivaled perspective and guidance for the best UAS stories happening in Texas or the stories that we'll see in the future. Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service, for example, is truly on the forefront of emergency UAS risk use cases. Although this event is the first of its kind in Texas, the type of attendee that will be in Austin is truly staggering, as you can see from the screen. The content offerings have been formulated to draw a wide range of UAS interested parties, from commercial manufacturers to policymakers to 333 holders. This show will truly offer valuable insight and information to several UAS interested parties. And I won't take your time and read every potential attendee on the list here, but again, you can see the way we've gone about formulating the content and workings of the show, the amount of people and varied type of person at the show is truly amazing, and it will be exciting to be a part of it. Now to the agenda and the content that our editorial team, guided by industry experts and the help of many people in Texas, it's worth noting that the agenda topics and the type and amount of content will be both diverse and powerful. Few geographical regions present so many end-use opportunities for UAS. From the current commercial or research-based UAS operations taking flight in Texas, attendees will see presentations on what is happening in UAS today instead of learning about hypothetical end-use cases and what might someday happen. This theme will also extend to the advanced research that the Lone Star team and others are performing in the state. Attendees will gain insight into what is working currently and also see what is potentially coming in the future based on ongoing research. I think it's worth stating again that what's exciting about the topics at this show will include case studies and lessons learned and the knowledge gained from UAS operations that are currently happening or that are currently in the works. There's so many different areas, whether it's pipeline infrastructure or oil and gas well maintenance monitoring or agricultural practices that are utilizing UAS or that researchers are looking at using UAS for, and it's exciting to think about hearing about many of those different end-use applications. Along with the content for the show and the important deadlines we're going to talk about here, it's also important to note that when we think about the content and the agenda for the show, anyone that would like to participate as a speaker needs to think in those terms and think in terms of how they can present to an audience about what they have done or work they have accomplished in the UAS sector, whether it's lessons learned, knowledge gained, that sort of thing. So we look forward to seeing those abstracts and presentations ideas through our system, or at any time feel free to give our team at UAS Magazine a call to talk about those things. Now I want to touch on some important deadlines for the show. As you'll see, we have speaker presentation ideas coming up fairly quickly, along with other deadlines from early bird registrations to sponsorships and those type of things. And for that, I'd like to hand it over to John Nelson. John?
All right, thanks, Luke. So again, I want to reiterate how excited UAS Magazine is to be in collaboration with the Lone Star UAS test site and Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service. We think, what their focus is, what they want to accomplish in Texas is in full alignment with the magazine and what the magazine wants to accomplish. And Joe's going to cover that in a few minutes here. So I'm going to talk about some of the benefits as a sponsor and as a speaker or even an exhibitor that you would achieve by being at this summit in Austin. So some of the speaker benefits is we really want to let you know that when you are selected as a speaker, once the team says, hey, this abstract that was submitted, once it goes through its paces and the team selects it, it's going to be highlighted. You as a speaker are going to be highlighted throughout our online agenda. Before the event, you're going to be on some emails that are going out, and we send emails about every email blast we send out is about 50,000. So you're going to be showcased on at least one of those. We're going to make sure that you have a Q&A. We do what we call a mini Q&A, where we give you some questions and you answer those, and then we put them on the conference website. So you get showcased as a speaker, and your company also gets showcased. So we'll also do, in addition to those Q&As, we will do panel previews is what we call them. And we'll talk about the full panel that you as a speaker are on. We'll talk about the rest of your group and what will be covered and showcase that. So again, when you are selected, it's not just what's happening at the event, it's really before the event, all the promotion that'll happen. So you're going to be on emails. As I mentioned, you'll be on the website and you'll be on any of the mailings that are going out. And then during the show, obviously, you're going to be showcasing the program guide. You'll be in front of all the attendees. And a lot of our attendees are the general attendees. We're also going to be marketing to the 333 holders, and then also current and potential commercial UAS users. And again, as a speaker, we are saying, hey, we appreciate your time. We're going to extend a complimentary registration to you as well. And then after the show, we'll also be following up. You'll have your presentation online. We'll be doing follow-up emails talking about the event. Again, you'll get additional benefits by being a speaker after the show as well. So here's some marketing and sponsorship opportunities that we currently have. We have two levels. We have a platinum level and a gold level. And as a sponsor of the 2016 Texas UAS Summit and Expo, you have an opportunity to position your organization as a leader and supporter of the UAS industry, and especially a supporter of the growing UAS sector in Texas. And again, when I say growing sector and what those sectors look like, Joe is going to be on the call here in a couple minutes, and he's going to briefly give you an overview of what that looks like and where they're taking Texas right now and where we hope to support. So we have platinum level sponsorships. We have grand opening welcome. We have receptions. We have online and mobile sponsorship. So we have conference bags and so on. You can read through this list. But what does that include? So as a sponsor, let's say you're looking to become a platinum level sponsor at this event. For as little as $8,000, you're going to gain the following. And so you'll have complimentary 8x10 premium exhibit space in the expo hall. You'll get 2 email blasts to all conference attendees. You'll get an insert in all conference bags. You'll get a full-page advertisement in on-site program guides. You'll get a 2-time use of the conference mailing list. You'll get your logo on the website. You'll also get to become you'll get to do an introduction as a keynote, to some of the keynote speakers or one of the panels. Depending on the availability, you'll have the opportunity to take the stage. We'll do a sponsor spotlight on the website. You'll be on all the marketing emails, and probably throughout. The way we calculate it, because every email that goes out is going to have your logo with your URL on it, we calculate between now and when the show happens, you're going to have about 600,000 impressions. So the sooner you become a sponsor or exhibitor, the more you can take advantage of those opportunities. You're also going to be able to have your company literature on a sponsor table in a high traffic area next to the trade show or registration desk. You'll also have a logo and a 50-word description in the program guide, and then top placement of your logo on signage throughout the event and so on. So you'll also receive 5 complimentary full conference registrations, and then you can also upgrade your suite at the hotel that we're at and have a boardroom during the event if you're looking to hold meetings. And I know some people, when they become a sponsor, they're looking to connect and they want to have some on-site meetings, and this is a nice feature for them to say, hey, as a platinum sponsor, you can have a boardroom, you can have those meetings and make business happen. So let's take a quick look at the expo map. Here's what it looks like. The green are currently open, the yellow are on hold, and the red is sold. Now we have quite a bit on hold. We just launched the site last week, so we haven't really been doing a whole lot of pushing, so this is going to go relatively quickly, but we do have quite a bit on hold, and they're both for sponsorships or they're already sold and looking to cycle through the system. So as you can see, we've got some big space up front, and then you can see we're going to have the buffet aisle in the back, and we're going to be driving as an exhibitor to this event. We do all meals, all open bar, all of our breaks, our refreshment breaks, our lunch, our breakfast, and all those times that attendees are eating, we make sure that they happen inside the expo hall. And you can see we've got the buffet line back there, but our whole purpose for doing this is to drive traffic, the attendee traffic, to you, the exhibitor, and make sure your people are getting in front of you and you're making the connections that you need to make. All right, and so that was my quick overview of some of the sponsorships and the way the exhibitors are set up. You can learn more about this and get more information at www.texasuassummit.com. Again, the conference is March 29th to the 31st in Austin, Texas. And now I'm going to hand things over to Joe Henry, the Director of Research, Commercialization, and Industry Outreach for Lone Star UAS Center of Excellence and Innovation. Joe. Joe, just seeing if you're still on mute, if we still have you online. All right. Well, we may have lost Joe, so I'm going to hand it over to Luke Geiver, and he's going to close.
I'm back on.
Oh, you're back on. All right.
I'm back on, John. My apologies for the technology challenge on my end. If I'm clear, am I clear to go at this point?
Yes, you sound great.
Okay, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. It's really a privilege to share some time with you, and I want to start by just letting you know that we're truly proud to be partnered with UAS Magazine and BBI for the first annual Lone Star Unmanned Aircraft System Summit. We believe that this is a 50-year commitment that we've made as relates to a partner for an annual summit. We believe that Austin is the right place to do this, both in Texas as well as a great place in the nation. So Luke and John, we're proud to be partnered with you, and we look forward to a long relationship, and we look forward to putting on this show every year. So thank you very much. Secondly, some of you out there may be wondering, so why is the Lone Star UAS Center of Excellence and Innovation partnered with the Texas A&M Engineering and Extension Station? The answer is very simply, they are nationally known for the National Emergency Response and Rescue Training Center. They're nationally known for their disaster city, that is the equivalent of a training center for first responders that's both nationally and world-renowned. And we at Lone Star felt like that they were absolutely the right partner for us to join arms and move forward with as we look to create opportunities as well as standards and best practices that can be employed both in the state of Texas as well as the nation for our first responders in emergency management, disaster relief, search and rescue, and so forth. And so I just got to say, before I say a word about the state of Texas and what we think this conference offers, we are really proud to be partnered with TEEX. We really look forward to a very long and lasting partnership with them as well, John and Luke. So again, great partnership. Let me move to the question that many of you may be wondering. Why Texas? Well, I'm going to break that into two components. And I want to start with, for those of you that are actively pursuing the commercial market in UAS, from an addressable market perspective, attending this conference is going to give you magnificent exposure to key markets that are being serviced today and many that will become even more mature going into the future. And I want to highlight a couple of facts and a couple of stats on Texas, which according to the last data that I saw was the 13th largest economy in the world. So when we talk about Texas, yes, it's proud. It's the Lone Star State. It's one of the 50 for the United States of America. But it's also, in terms of world economy, as far as scope and scale, you're really talking about in the top 15 of all economies in the world. But let's talk about addressable markets with UAS. By being involved commercially in Texas, you're talking about greater than 50,000 bridges that are going to require inspection, that are going to require maintenance, and perhaps are going to require retrofit and complete replacement. Well, you're not going to do that with greater than 50,000 bridges without surveying and inspection and the data and the imagery that would be required. And as we all know, UAS would be a very, very cost-effective and very safe way to do that. Greater than 1 million acres of farmland and agriculture and rangeland. Approximately 500 offshore oil platforms, greater than 350,000 miles of pipeline. greater than 3,500 miles of power lines that are also going to require inspection, and we believe that UAS is an ideal means to do that. Greater than 10,000 miles of railroads, greater than 7,000 wind turbines, and the coastline in and of itself is greater than 3,000 miles. So as you can see, from an addressable market perspective, we believe that Texas gives you an ideal environment to be working in. I also want to talk about the ability to partner for research purposes with the Lone Star Center of Excellence and our partners. We're currently working very, very closely with several of the other universities across the state that include University of Texas at Arlington, their research center, University of Texas at San Antonio, Texas Tech University, selected folks from University of Texas in Austin, Texas A&M at College Station, and we're really proud to be partnered with the Johnson Space Center through Baytech in Houston. Our three-day event is going to include demonstrations that will run the gamut from perhaps some of the work that we're currently doing with NASA in the UAS traffic management arena, perhaps our credentialing program that's targeted to first responders in the oil and gas community, as well as day two, lots of panels, lots of room for speakers. But I can tell you some of the things that we Lone Star are working with John and Luke on to present will be our current work with NASA. We're putting together a state agency panel that will talk about state agencies' interest in their requirements in UAS to give you a feel for some of the opportunity there. We've already got a major oil and gas company in Texas has committed to lead our oil and gas panel. In addition to that, there will be an agriculture panel and an industry panel. And the industry panel will not just be the large aerospace industry companies, but will also be companies that are actually manufacturing the platforms that are allowing people to move into this commercial space as rapidly as is occurring today. We'll also have FAA leadership updates on the current state in the UAS space. We hope to have some insights on what's referred to as the small rule, but we've got room on the agenda for that, as well as we look forward to these papers, Luke and John, that you mentioned earlier. We look forward to looking at those, and I'm sure there's going to be great presentations. There's a wide variety of senior executive speakers that are currently being worked on, subject to their calendars, that range from folks in Washington, D.C., as well as across the state of Texas. We'll have more of an update on that after the new year. But again, in closing, thank you very much for the opportunity to just give you a quick snapshot of why we think that this conference will be beneficial for those that attend and what it offers from a value proposition perspective. I wish everyone a very, very happy holiday. Be safe. And John, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. That was great. This is Luke again. Really some amazing numbers of all the opportunities to utilize UAS just in Texas alone, not to mention all the work that's going on in Texas right now that will truly impact the broader UAS industry. I know our team and the staff we have of writers is looking forward to all the good stories we'll have to write about from our time down in Texas. Do want to mention for everyone on the call today that we'll be putting a recording of today's webinar on the website. So if you miss any information that was talked about today, you can listen to the webinar again, or you can certainly contact our team at any time. Also, John mentioned at the beginning, there is a 10% savings opportunity on any inline booth for the show for listeners of the webinar today. That expires January 15th of the new year in 2016, and you can contact service at bbiinternational.com or call the number listed on your screen to talk about that savings opportunity. And with that, myself here with UAS Magazine and for Joe Henry down in Texas, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, and I hope we see you all in Austin. Thank you.